Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and you guys, I'm so excited to be here, be back in front of my normal camera with my normal life happening. It feels so vindicating. So today we are jumping into some Dose of Colors fun. This is going to be, I don't want to say like a two-parter, but today we have one palette and then tomorrow we're going to be doing the other. So for those of you that do not know, Dose of Colors recently released their holiday collection. They released a big old vault with like 5 palettes in it for $109-ish, which is actually a pretty good deal. They also released a couple individual palettes, which is what we're diving into. I have reviewed, I believe, almost all or most of the, almost all and most of are the same thing, Paige. Wow. But I've reviewed a ton of Dose of Colors little 5-pan palettes because I've really had a good time with them in the past. The pigmentation, the quality has been very nice, and it's something that I enjoy working with and really seeing their vision for those little easy to use 5-pan palettes. So today is no different. We're diving into this pretty cool palette, and this is today, but tomorrow they also released this Snow Angel palette that has colors in it. We're going to be having a good time with that, and in that video as well, we're going to be talking about this little glossy Wonderland set that I picked up that has 4 adorable little mini glosses in it. So these were all right around the same price. Their gloss set is $25, which again, tomorrow's video, and both of these little 5-pan sets were $32. So today we are diving into the cool one, mainly just because that's the vibe I'm feeling today. Like I have my hair up in this cute little wrap crown situation. I have on this big old oversized old lady sweater, and I was like, you know what I could really go for? I could go for some brown, some taupe, some combing things in my world. That's what I could go with because I'm feeling old lady. So tomorrow we're going to dive into the color, and for today we're just going to be positively perfectly bland and be happy about it. But diving into today's palette, we have the pretty cool palette. Now this has 5 pans per usual. Their normal setup that we come to know and love. It does come with this tiny little brush, which isn't my favorite, especially for their type of palettes. I find that these brushes are, like, for me, I've used them for highlight in the past, but they're just not my favorite. They're very chintzy and small. They're not like an Urban Decay or an Anastasia palette. When you get those and they come with a brush, they're a little bit beefier, a little thicker, a little bit nicer. You have a little bit more brush on the end, and this one was just a little too small. It's too chintzy. It's the like shaft part of it right here is like maybe double the width of a Q-tip, which is like, just, I don't know, it's a little too thin for me, not my personal favorite. And we know that Paige is like a big fan of the sponge tip applicator. I come to know and love the brushes that y'all give me for free. I'm like, yes, queen, please give me free brushes with these $30, $40, $50 palettes. I love it. But that one I'm just like, ugh, I don't really love. But moving past that, all of these little palettes do have their 5-pan normal setup right here with this cute little mirror, very travel-esque, very travel-friendly, very take me somewhere, and very everyday. Now, the only one I can't vouch for yet is the Snow Angels. The overall color scheme of that one, I'm like, is that everyday? I don't know about that. But as far as this one, I was like, this screams everyday, super user friendly, like wearable palette. That is the vibe I get from this. And we're really going to dive into it. Now, for those of you that do not know, or you're not familiar with my channel, these colors terrify me a little bit. I don't typically gravitate towards like not cooler tones so much, but like deep gray undertone shadows, even deeper browns, and then of course like a cool tone brown. They all pull very gray, very like dirty on me, and so I'm trying this out today, and I'm praying to the dear sweet heavenly Lord Jesus, fabulous man above, that he can help me, because I don't know how this is gonna go. Of all the colors to be intimidated by, you can give me a lime green and I'll be like, shit, I got this. Okay, you can give me bright ass pink, purple, white, I don't even care, fluorescent neon purple, and I'm gonna be all over that BS. But I cannot. Like, this makes me terrified. So, guys, gonna have to bear with me a little bit as I'm breathing a little heavy. I'm just like, whew, I'm feeling the nerves. So let's go ahead. We're gonna dive in real quick to the colors and the swatches. And as you can see, they're swatched on my hand right here. But I do also have an up close for you that we will insert right now. Now, I'm not sure which direction these colors go in, but we have the colors Smoke Show, Fine Print, Sign Off, Let's Chill, and Taupeless, which, get taupe, taupeless. I thought that was cute. And I'm curious about these more or less just because, like I said, when I'm working with these tones, they pull muddy very quickly on my skin tone. So I could see this going like very good or very bad depending on, you know, immediate trajectory. So let's go ahead and dive into these. I have already got my eyes primed and prepped, and bitch, we are ready. I think we're ready. I think we are good to go. Yes. All right, got you good and zoomed in because you got to be able to see what the hell we're doing. And I already did go ahead and prime and prep my eyelids. I went in with my Urban Decay Eden Primer, set that down with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder, and I am good to go. So I think what we're going to start off with is this Morphe E27 brush, and I want to dive in first just to kind of test the waters with this lightest shade right up here. We're going to start taking that, running it all the way through the crease, and we're going to pray. Where's my mirror? Now I am going in lighter at first, and then I'm gonna be building this color because let's be honest, Dose of Colors has some pigment that they can pack at a moment's notice, and I do not want to get caught off guard. So we're just taking this and I'm blending it up more or less into like a higher crease area right up here because I don't know as of yet what I'm gonna do on the lid portion of my eye. But I know that whatever it is, I'm going to need a good blend to make all these colors work. That's the one thing I will say if you have like very hooded eyes like I do, very squatty. My eyes are like very short this way and they're very stout, like they're very boop, boop. And you can tell because like over here, for example, this eye's already, you know, starting to look different because I have color on it. But over here, you can tell I have almost no lid space when I'm just looking at you with open, you know, or with open eyes. My lid space is completely concealed. And the problem is that if you start going in with a lot of colors like this and you go in with too much too fast, what you'll end up with is just a really muddy, messy eye, and it'll actually make your eye look smaller and more closed off because that's what darker colors have the tendency to do. You guys, so far that looks really beautiful. Nice, perfect, all even toned color. So now the question is, what am I going to want to put on the lid? I don't know. So many things I don't know the answers to. Now, for those of you that are not aware, and I don't think it'll pick up on camera, but always keep in mind, Dose of Colors, I've been digging into this color right here, and within only like a couple little boop boop boops of your brush, it does kick up quite a bit. They are very soft shadows. They do blend really nicely. You don't have any issues, and I don't have any problem usually with fallout. But as far as kick and pan, just keep in mind when you're digging in for color, these are a very soft shadow, or one of the softer shadows I have used. So just keep that in mind. Don't really dig in. Don't get too aggressive. You don't want to slam your brush down into these. That means that if you're going in with a smudger brush or any like blunted type of a brush that really goes in and like bam, packs a more tight punch, it would almost be like a chisel in something like this. It would really break apart the shadow, make it crumble, and you don't want to do that because then you will have wrecked a whole eyeshadow, and that would be really shitty. So don't do that. Word of the wise. I haven't done it myself, but I've come close because I never stopped to think that these were very soft, and so don't make that mistake. Now I do think I want to grab this Sigma Large Shader E60 brush, like a large packer brush, and I want to grab that same color I just worked into the crease, and I think I want to put that all over the lid. I was really hesitant to try this at first, but I love, love, love the way that that color is sitting in my actual crease, and I think it would be a great all over color. So I'm just going to work on packing this down onto my lid. A lot of times what it means when you have a shadow that does a lot of kick up in pan like this, like I just explained, it's more of a soft shadow. It blends beautifully. And it's important to remember that like what I did at first, blending through the crease, that is the blending portion. What I'm doing right now with this brush, because it's flat, is more of a packing motion, and you're packing it onto your lid. That doesn't manipulate the shadow the same way. So whereas when I was working it through the crease, I had no fallout, I had no issue. It was perfect and blendable and sultry and just sexy right onto the lid. It's important to remember that that is a totally different way of manipulating the shadow. So when I'm going in and I'm packing it on with this brush, it is to be expected that I would have some fallout because it is so powdery, and I'm using it in a totally different way. So it's not going to count against it. It's just more or less be mindful if you're wanting to do that with these shadows. If you would rather use them in a packing fashion, you will want to have some bake down underneath, or, you know, do your eyes first, which is what I'm doing. So just something to keep in mind. I wanted to explain it because it's not the type of situation where fallout, quote unquote, is such a bad thing, because it's just that these are soft, really blendable shadows. That's why it's doing it. It's not because it's a bad formula. It's not because it's not pressed correctly. It's nothing like that. So now that we have all the explanation out of the way, it is time to dive into a different color, because I think we've used a lot of this one. And this is the BH number 5 brush. It has a nice slight tapered point to it, but it's a really good brush when I want to start deepening up like an outer V. This is one of my favorite brushes for that. And we're going to start going down the line. We're going to work this color right here, the next deepest color in the palette, the next deepest color in the palette. Wow. It sounded like there were like 17 double negatives in there, but we're going to take this brush and we're just going to start working it right on into the crease here. And this whole look is basically just going to be about building a nice neutral brown toned eye. And I'm still nervous, you guys. Oh, God, am I nervous. Like, every time I touch the brush to my eye, I'm like, ooh, girl, do you mean to do that? Do you mean to do that? And I'm mainly keeping this color from about here over, so like the outer 2/3 of my eye, just because I'm trying to create the nice blended illusion. So the lighter is going to be really prominent from like here to this first third. Then we're going to take this color all the way back, and then the next deep color we're going to cut probably in half, do that outer portion, and that's how I really work to help create a nice blended eye look. And then when I'm at this point, I kind of go in with a fluffier brush. This is the BH V5. This is like a little bit fluffier, more blunted version of the one we just used. And we take this one and we just blend both of those two colors together, but there's no product on the brush, so it's strictly for the purpose of blending and buffing all those colors together. All right, so now that we are here, I'm loving the way everything is looking and blending, and it's actually working beautifully. Now we're gonna dive into the third shade. So just for a color comparison, I thought we'd use these swatches. We started here all over the lid. This is the one we just worked in, and now we're gonna move on to this middle guy right here, just to really continue deepening up this V portion. And we're gonna go back in with that same VH5, the one with the tapered that we used to work that color into the crease, and we're gonna use that same brush to work in the next color. So we're just gonna, honestly, guys, not super exciting, but we're just working on building and manipulating colors and building that nice deep set socket eye look that all those pretty people have, because girl, we want that deep ass socket too. Yes, we do. And this is another color that I am keeping really only to about halfway over. So again, we went from like here to here, then we did that other color on the outer 2/3. Now we're at about halfway, keeping it nice and tucked over to here, keeping all of this good and blended. And then this color, as I start to blend it in, I look straight into the mirror like this, and I like to see how far that depth comes up and if it helps bring my eye up. And if it doesn't help to lift your eye, you're gonna need a little bit more darkness up in here. And I'm gonna probably end up bringing my darkness up just a little bit higher. But that's, again, based on your eye shape, that's just how I do it to determine exactly how high up I need to bring my deepest color. Because if you bring it too high, you're going to look like a sunken in little mole rat. If you don't bring it high enough, it's going to be like, where's that color, girl? Where is that smoky eye? And we're working on it, so we got to just keep on building, keep on building. Now, before I finish deepening up this outer portion with another color, I'm going to grab this Morphe R35. And this is like a smaller-ish blending brush. I'm going to grab the lightest shade in the palette that we originally worked all over the eye. And I'm going to take that and blend out just this outer crease or upper outer crease right here, just to have a nice place for all of that nice dark color to diffuse into, because I don't want it to be super harsh. I want it to have somewhere to go. Otherwise, it will look very out of place on my white ass face. That was such a rhyme. Okay. Okay, so now that we are here, we are blended. I keep looking at this and I think I only want to take one more color toward the outer V. And after much deliberation, I have decided that that is going to be this color right here, which is the very last pan in the palette. And the reason I'm skipping this one is, as you can tell, it is a lot more cool tone, which is great. I love that they included one that was so cool. But because I've been building with all of these other colors that are much warmer than this one, I think it would be a little bit too stark of a difference to dive in with that cool of a color. I think it's probably a great color, don't get me wrong, but I just think as far as what we have going, I don't think it would be the right call. So I'm going to grab this last shade in the palette right here, and I'm going to take that same BH V5 brush, and we're just going to keep working this in. Again, super simple, super easy, and if you were doing this all like one after the next and you weren't stopping and explaining, realistically, this would probably be a very fast, like day to night situation that you'd have here. You could have like a nice light brown smoky kind of eye, and then before you go out at night, man, you just add a couple of these colors into the crease, all over the lid even, and you'd be ready to go. Maybe throw on some glitter if you were so inclined, and damn, you'd be ready to go. And I'm taking this color. Wow, that is a dark ass color. Okay, wow, Paige. And we're just taking this, and we are using it in very small, little tiny dabbles, and popping it right out here and blending upward and inward. We want to have a light fade on the lid as well as a light fade toward this upper outer area. So I want to bring it a little bit in and then a little bit up. That way it really helps encapsulate that whole outer portion and bring it all up. That color blended in so quickly and so effortlessly, it's not even right. Like, it just blended right out. I'm going to take that clean blending brush right here, still nothing on it, and I'm just going to use that to really blend out this upper area, make sure everything is diffused. Now, the one thing I want to do before I go off of camera is I actually want to take just my plain finger, there's no glitter glue or anything, and I want to grab that light color, the one that I originally packed all over my lid, and I want to use just my finger to repack that on there. I feel like I'm going to get a little bit more saturation this way. Oh yeah, there we go. Because I really want there to be some lightness on my lid, but not so light that it's like a harsh contrast. I want it to look like a naturally light smoky base. Wow, and that blended out like a dream. And for a matte shadow to apply that well, holy crap. Wow, ooh, wow, ooh, oh my God, I love it. So I've been giving this a little bit of thought here for the last 12 seconds. And I think I'm gonna grab this Sigma. This is their E20 short shader brush. It's basically a smudger brush. Use any smudger brush you have. And I want to take that same deep color that we just worked out onto the outer V, and I wanna smudge that right along my upper lower lash line. So right up here. And instead of a liner, I think this is what I want to use. I don't know yet. I might throw on a black liner when it's all said and done. But I really love the idea of packing this color right down here. And this is the type of brush I was referring to when I was talking about digging into these shades. Because it's so short and stout, you don't want to jam it in there. Just lightly touch and tap off. And believe me when I tell you, you will get plenty of color payoff, honey. Plenty, plenty, plenty. And then depending on what look you're going for or what eye shape you want, I'm just kind of taking that color and lightly smudging it up in a diagonal direction. Like boop, 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 just like that. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. That is so, oh my God, I'm obsessed with that. You guys. Okay, I'm gonna run off. I'm gonna do this eye, obviously, and I'm gonna do the rest of my face, and then I will be back to finish talking to you. But for right now, I am so impressed with myself. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna be right back after I go throw a party. Hey. Yeah, okay. Yes, nailed it. Okay guys, so I went ahead, I got the rest of my face on, and let's chat real quick. I want to start off by telling you what's on my lips because I almost forgot last time. So on my lips for the liner, I went in with the Kim K Nude Lip Liner in number 2. It's a really nice dark outline, but I wanted the center to have like a nice pop element to it, kind of like the eyes, how they were nice and dark outline, but how they had like an element of lighter color toward the inner portion. I wanted the same thing for the lips. So I went in first, actually out of this Dose of Color little set here, and I grabbed the shade Photo Op, which is just the lightest shade in there. I wanted to have something to lighten up that liner, and then over top of that, for a little bit of that more glossy appeal, I grabbed the MAC and Patrick Star collab. This is in Fashion Punch. It's one of their lip glosses from, I think, the second or third part of their collection, or second or third, you know, little collection installment they did. And that lip for me was really nice and complimenting for this eye because it was nice and a dark to light, but still had like that dark outline trace thing going on. I really loved it. But anyways, all of that aside, lips on lock, let's talk about this pretty cool palette. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I think of the quality. And as far as that end of this, I have no qualms. I think everything went on beautifully. It applied well. Everything smudged nicely on the lower lash line. I honestly, to do the entire lower lash line, I took 3 colors. The darkest one, which I thought I would have like clips of all this, but alas, my camera was not recording. So I took the deepest one here, right up next to the lower lash line. I smudged out next to that with the middle one right here to deepen it up. And then on the very bottom, just to pull it all together, I took the lightest shade. And I did that on the lower lash line because I really wanted to see how these colors would work together, how they would blend if I skipped steps. Meaning, when I did the lid itself, I went in and I kind of worked my way down this gradient. And I wanted to see for the lower lash line, would everything still blend nicely, or would I get more of a muddy look? How would things look and manipulate if I skipped? So if I went from like here to here to here and I did every other pan, was that going to affect it? And it didn't. The blend was still beautiful. What I don't like a lot of times in little palettes like this, not so much with Dose of Color, but I've noticed it with other arrangements, is that they are dependent on you using the colors correctly in the right order to get the desired blend and the right effect. And I can't stand that because we don't always want to use the same color at the same time for the same look. That's irritating. So I like to rearrange the colors and how you use them to see what I can get from there. Now, after After all of that, I can safely tell you that the quality on this palette is absolutely fantastic. Everything is great. Again, they are a little bit of a softer shadow, so if you're not used to that kick in pan, be ready for it. But my biggest issue with this, and this is what I was kind of like taking my time trying to figure out with this palette, is how is this going to be most usable and who would this be the most usable for? And because again, here I am looking at it, I'm like, there's not a ton of diversity. Not that there often is with these little dose of color, little 5-pan palettes. A lot of times when you pick up one of these, like when you picked up the blushing, was it blushing berries? There was berries and then there was sassy siennas, and there's just that theme of they take 5 colors and like one color scheme and they really span it out so you get that color light version, a deeper part of that color, and then a bunch of colors in between. And the reason they do it is so that way it's easy to get a nice desired blended version of that color if that's your go-to. If that way it's quick and easy. You can add shimmer, you don't have to add shimmer, but you can really do a lot with the way that they compile these little 5-pan palettes. And for me, I was trying to figure out who would this be for. And I actually think this would work really beautifully if you are the type of like, you're an on-the-go businesswoman, you like to have something quick that you can throw on, but you really love that deeper toned aesthetic. This would be a great, beautiful option for you, number one. Number two, I think this would be great for anyone that has to go day to night relatively quickly, because you will have everything you need right at your fingertips. You throw a good brush with this palette, not the one that it comes with, but put like a decent brush with this and throw it in your purse, and you'd be able to stop in real quick to the bathroom or to wherever you're, able to stop on your way to wherever you're going. Take the deeper color, deepen up your outer V. You won't have to do anything. You can pop on falsies or you don't have to, depending on your aesthetic and how deep you want to go with the look. I went in with the Ardell Faux Demi Wispy Mink ones, the ones that I've been loving lately. I've worn these pairs. I've worn this pair multiple times and it still holds up and it's going really well. So for a drugstore lash, these are a great option. Now, the only thing I don't think that, the only person rather that I don't think this palette would work for is someone that isn't into that deeper toned aesthetic. Obviously, someone that isn't into like a deep, sultry, smoky eye. I don't think it would be for you. But aside from that, I think this is a palette that would work good for on the go, a good travel palette. If you have, say, for example, if you're like, I want a quick option, take this palette with you. You'd have a good day to night option. And then you can take your highlight, whatever it is that you naturally use to highlight your face. I use the Ofra highlighter in Star Island, and this is the one I used in a first impression not too long ago. I used that all over my cheeks, my whole face, and it's a beautiful highlight. You could have that with you. You can highlight your lid. You can leave your lid matte, which is what I did. You can really use and play these colors to your advantage. You can do a spotlight eye if you want, put some glitter in the middle, and you'd have like a really nice going out look. I mean, it really is multifaceted. This is the type of, let me put it this way. This palette would be like the nice jacket you have that goes with several different shirts. You know what I mean? Like by itself, you're like, oh, it's a jacket. I need something to put with it. Can I wear it alone? Like, yeah, I can zip it up and I can have like a nice little sexy moment, because some jackets we can like zip all the way up, cover our bra just like ever so slightly, and you have like some nice cleavage. It looks really nice and put together. You're not too hot. So you can wear this jacket alone, right? But you really love pairing it with like other things, other pops of color or other this or that. This is that jacket. I hope that makes sense, because it makes sense to me. I can't tell you how many items of clothing I have where that's like, yes, that's totally ringing true. So with that being said, I do think that as far as quality, yes, it's good, all that. The amount of product you get is nice. And these are 0.06 in pan size, so they are a little bit larger than a standard Urban Decay, which is good on one side. The only downside is that I think you're gonna lose that little bit of extra product you get because these are a fluffier, softer shadow. So you will lose some of it to the kick in pan. But other than that, I think you'll have plenty of color. These are nice and saturated in pigment, so you won't have a problem with like, blending or with using them. I didn't have any problems. I actually tried when I was doing this one on camera. This is the one that when I do it on camera, I do it nice and soft and slow and steady. And when I went in with this other eye off of camera, I made a point of doing it different. I made a point of doing it quicker, a little bit more haphazard, a little bit like, okay, run it together, throw it together, try to match the eyes. And it worked beautifully. It didn't leave it patchy. I kind of skipped my steps around and tried to just do it a lot faster. Like if you weren't on the go, kind of got to get out the door. And these colors blended beautiful. They are not patchy. They're not streaky. And as far as how it smudged like along my upper lash line, I was actually really impressed, because this eye has been watering nonstop, like drive me insane nonstop. and it worked great as well. So I don't have any qualms with this, you guys. Let me know what you think down below. Now don't forget, when you're down there leaving all those fabulous, sweet little comments that I know you guys miss me and want to leave, go up to the description box, check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. And as of yesterday, because there was no video yesterday, there's a whole lot of fun new shit that you can go look at over on Instagram, because your girl's posting pictures like crazy, because I miss you when there's no video, and that's usually what I do because I don't know what else to do. So you guys definitely check that out. Let me know what you think down below. Leave me all your thoughts and happiness and whatever you have. And above all else, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm sorry, sir. Who are you? Can I help you with something? What are you doing? What? Mayday, I need a bobby pin. Are you kidding me? So let's go ahead and get in. So this is the, each pan has 0.06 ounces per pan, which is a little, stop. I don't know what direction these go on the back here. If you'd like to see an actual hand swatch, oh, I think I just died a little. And it's basically all of the, did I mention I even cleaned some brushes for this occasion? Because I did. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that I'm fabulous or nothing, but like I'm fabulous because I cleaned some brushes. All right, so now that we have all the explanating. Okay, let's do this. Oh, okay, too much garbage by my feet. Ouch.